Hello my DIY crafting friends. Today I'm going to be repurposing this tray. This is one of those metal trays from back in the day that it was a TV tray. That's what we called it back then. So I'd like to repurpose it, and I cleaned it off, and I'm going to use corks from wine bottles to decorate this tray. I got them from my lovely sister-in-law, and this tray from my sister-in-law. How awesome is that? So the first thing I need to do is paint my tray. And I have, what color is this? Brown, just brown. Brown paint. And I am going to paint this entire tray brown because I don't want to see the red through my tray. So it's probably going to need more than one coat. It is metal, so it could be a pain in the tush. But basically, I am just painting my metal tray with brown paint. Now, you could do this with any tray you'd like. I just like to use things that I have around the house and try to make them look a little bit better or a lot better. So I am going to continue to paint this tray, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's completely dry. Here it is, painted brown. It's dry, has some issues, but that's okay because we're going to stick corks on it. But before that, I'm going to use some white apple barrel paint, and I'm going to dry brush, which all it is a brush that's dry. I'm going to dip it in the white paint, make sure I get most of it off, and I definitely want to do the outer area more so than the middle, but I am dry brushing onto my tray. So I want to go back and forth to get down below here. I want to make sure that on the edges it has some color. I got a little carried away there, but that's okay because we're going to put the corks on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to get Mod Podge and cover that. You can spray paint your tray. You could use clear spray paint, but I'm going to wait for this to dry, and then I'm going to put Mod Podge on it to give it a seal. So that is what I am going to do. So I will be back, and then we will start with our corks. So now I'm just dabbing it a little because I'd like the not the ends, but around where the tray folds to have color, just in case. So I'm going to go get Mod Podge and cover it, have it dry, and then we'll be ready for our corks. I had used gloss Mod Podge. I only did the ends around the rim. So you're going to need a glue gun, some rope, and some corks. So I am going to take my rope that I cut in half, and I'm going to put it down here, and glue this on here. So I'm going to put a decent amount of glue there, and hold this right on here as my handle. So I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Hopefully you can see that. Take my rope and put it in the, oops, I had used this rope before, so it's not actually curling so good, but I am also holding that right like that. So that's all you have to do for that for right now. Now what you want to do is you want to take your corks. You can set them up the way you want, or you can do them one at a time. So basically I am just going to put some hot glue on it and stick it in the corner just like that, and I'm going to continue to do that all the way across and down. I want all of these to be going the same way. It's easy peasy. The next step after this is I'm going to use resin to cover it so that it's firm. So I am just going to continue to do this. I will come back and show you what it looks like when it's done before I get to the resin. So I'm trying to use different ones and have them going a certain way so that I can read it. And that's simple as that. Just continue to do that. I'm going to come back after that's done and show you what it looks like. When I first laid out my corks, I went this way, back and forth. I had a lot of bare space. I don't have a lot of corks. I don't drink wine. I'm actually allergic to it, the sulfur in it. So my sister-in-law gave them to me, and I ran out, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of something to do. I ended up using bigger corks in different spots. So what you want to do is you want to get some resin, and I mixed 100 milligrams total, and here it is, and I'm going to start pouring it on. This will help your cork stay in place and your handle stay on. I only have a bit here, so I am going to pour. It's going to absorb in some of the corks, and that's fine. I'm going to need more resin also, but I started with 100 milliliters in this little tiny cup. I am redoing my craft room, trying to organize it, which I am an absolute hot mess at doing. My sister had bought me a shelf unit, which I will be working on, and I've been working on. So basically, the resin I'm using I got from Amazon, and it's 50-50. So I'm going to put 50 of the one in here. And the reason I was telling you about my craft room is all my stuff is kerfuffled, which actually I'm not real happy about, but I am working on trying to organize my craft room. So I'm going to do 50 milliliters of the one, 50 of the other. Pour this in here to get 100 milliliters. I like resin that you can do half and half. So then what you do with your resin is you get an item, could be a popsicle stick, but I have this stick, and you want to mix it together. The more you take your implement in and out, the more bubbles you're going to have. but try not to take it in and out, and just mix it till it's not cloudy anymore. And as you can see, I took it out, which is not good for your bubbles, but I do have a heat gun to use for the bubbles, which I will be doing that shortly. I'm trying to get a base of resin, and then I'll be putting more on, but for right now I'm just trying to get a base so that everything is covered and secure to my tray. So I have quite a bit of bubbles, but I have a torch, which is good. So I am just going to continue to go up and down each aisle of my corks to secure them. So this is all going to the bottom of the tray, which is good. So I'm going to add some more. I'm also going to move it around to actually move my resin around. I'm going to add some more over here in this area. So again, I'm going to do 50 of the one. Okay, here's my 50 of the one part of this. And then put the lid on. 50 of the other. So far I've used 200 milligrams of resin. This will be 300. Hopefully that'll be all I need for the bottom half. Again, mixing it a lot. The faster you mix it, the more bubbles you also get. So try to not mix it real fast. But this is my bottom coat of the resin, and I'm going to have to let it dry, and then I'll come back and do the other coats. I'm not exactly sure how many coats I will need because I am winging this. So you want to mix it all up, get all the clouds out, and make sure it's mixed so that it'll harden. Okay, now I'm going to start down this end and pour some. So where you have too much, you can move it around so that it will go in the spots you need it. This will secure your handles and your corks. I just thought this would be a fun thing to do. I was hoping that I had enough of the same type of corks, but I do not. So I went with a couple of the bigger ones. Now, if you see that there is any bubbles, some people use a torch. I do not. I would probably catch everything on fire and melt my products. So I try to, well, I use a heat gun. Here it is. I got it, I believe, in Amazon. So I'm going to turn it on high, which doesn't seem real high, and go around and blow out the bubbles. There's not a lot of bubbles right now because we're not at the top, and what I mean is the top coat. So far I have used, on the bottom part, I have used 300 milligrams of resin. I'm going to wait about 4 hours and come back. I don't know if you can see this. There's really no bubbles. There is something right here. Where is it? I saw it. It's moving along. A little fleck of something. So I'm going to wait a couple hours, come back, and add more of my items, more resin. So this is what it looks like right now. I will be back to show you when I add more. It'll probably be about 300 more milligrams of resin. You want to make sure that your corks are down. You should be wearing gloves and be in a well-ventilated area with resin. So I will be back in a couple hours to add more resin to my tray. Okay, it's 4 hours later, and I have mixed up 400 of my resin, and it's very bubbly, which I am going to have to use my heat gun for. So I'm just going to pour this on here. Hopefully it's enough to cover everything. I might need more, but for right now I am just putting this on. So the reason I waited 4 hours was I wanted a little bit of a base before I put on my top coat, which is a good thing. I am going to have to turn this around a tad because my floor, and scoop some more of this over here in this area. Now I am going to blow it out with my heat gun, but first I am going to put my resin as much as I can on here. Trying to get all of it out. So I have quite a bit of bubbles, as you can see. So I'm going to use one of my hand wipes so I can clean my hands off before I start messing with anything else. Excuse me. This will also move your resin around, which is a good thing, so that it'll be equal. So as you can see, it's popping the bubbles and moving everything around. So you just want to make sure you get all the bubbles out. You're going to have to keep coming back because bubbles are going to continue to rise. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I will show you the finished product when it's done. So for right now, I'm just going to continue to come back over and over again to continually check on my tray. So that's fun. I think this is fun, and I think it's going to be adorable. So I'm going to keep coming back to check and make sure that every bit of my corks are covered. I have more than enough resin on here, and you just want to take it easy with your resin. So I am going to use my heat gun to go over this again and blow it out to make sure I get rid of all of the bubbles. So I will be back to show you what it looks like when it's totally cured. And right now what I'm doing is I'm just taking a little extra and making sure that all of my corks are covered. Okay, I'll be back. This is how the tray turned out. I think it's pretty awesome. If you're going to make one of these, it's a little difficult to build it up on the sides because I don't have like a flat edge. So I'm thinking if you're going to make one, you could do it in a box type or make a box. My handles are in very securely. So a couple things. One, bubbles are going to keep reproducing on your tray. So every couple hours, come and blow them out before it hardens and sets. So I like it. I think it's pretty, but I could have covered these better if I had a square or box type container. So let me put a couple things on here to show you my cute little tray. How's that? Look how cute. So thanks so much for watching. Have a blessed day. And I hope this inspires you and makes you happy. Bye.